Meta is among the top 2 customers for Nvidia chips. So it's more to do with the fact that not only are they using the GPUs from Nvidia, they're also using the CPUs now. And Intel and AMD used to own that market of server CPUs. And what Nvidia is saying is, we'll give you a better throughput, a better performance if you end up using our GPU cluster, complement our CPUs. And I think overall, that's Meta's way of making sure they get the supply from Nvidia, because we heard that at least 10 times from Jensen this year. The demand is really strong, and they get to decide who they allocate their chips to. So this is one way that Meta is making sure they have the supply.
Yeah, well, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So again, the hyperscalers spending more and striking up new deals.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Uber. It's planning to spend more than $100 million to really supercharge its Robotaxi charging stations. How are you thinking about whether this changes the profile of what Uber is as a company?
I think for Uber, given the scale of their rides, they do over 13 billion rides a year. Compare that to a Waymo that just did 20 million rides a year.
So, let's go back.
Yeah.
Say those numbers again.
13 billion rides for Uber. And just to put it in context, that equates to maybe 10 million rides a day. And Waymo did 20 million rides in the whole year, the past 12 months, which was phenomenal growth, compared for them. But that's the scale that Uber is operating at. And that's their pitch that, if you've got 2 Robotaxi players, they will eventually have to tap our network. If you've got 5 players, then there's all the more reason to use Uber as the network to deploy a Robotaxi fleet, because the hard part in this business is managing the wait times. You can have a fleet of Waymo cars, but people don't have the patience to wait for 10 minutes, for a Waymo. So that's the scale at which Uber operates. It allows them to keep the ETAs really low, which is why people use these services. And that's, I think, what's keeping them.
This is one of the great inventions of my lifetime, the whole ride-sharing thing. Think about how it's changed your life.
I know.
I mean,
back in the day, what did you have to do, right?
Yeah, and we have with our kids, we have this thing, don't drink and drive, don't drink and drive. They're like, nobody drinks and drives.
Yeah, I know. They look at you like you're crazy because
Exactly.
there's a solution for that.
Yeah,
actually, the
they
people
grew
who
up
drink
with
and drive are full-grown adults.
Yes.
That's who does that.
It's
Gen
amazing.
X.
Yeah, and you can actually get parking on college campuses now. And that was a huge problem at Duke. You can never get a parking space. Now they're like, yeah, we got parking all over the place because the kids are Ubering everywhere.
Absolutely.
So Uber Technologies, are they fully globally penetrated right now? Or is there some big part of the world where, like China, where they're just not a player?
Yeah, they're not a player in China. And the big threat is what the Chinese autonomous driving companies are trying to do is they're trying to roll out their fleet, not only in China, but outside in Europe as well. And that's the next leg of the competition is if you've got, Chinese companies that are in robotaxis that don't end up using Uber. And, we know Didi is a big ride-sharing company that's similar size to Uber. So that's the threat. But so far, outside of, except for China, Uber has the scale when it comes to all the other markets. So I think it's a hard business to disrupt unless you've got scale.